there has to be for me somewhere in a song that is they call it, I don't know, they call it the or the do you know what I mean?
Did that bit out. I'm gonna have to edit that bit out.
In this game, it's a marathon. It's never a sprint. You can always learn from every release something new.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, AZODi, and welcome to the video. Very fortunate to have David Anthony agree to doing this interview about LOONA. Just a heads up, my webcam is very cheap and old. Apologies for that. I need to spend a bit more money on the webcam. So yeah, sit back, enjoy the video, and learn some stuff. David Anthony, wow, congrats on the songs, absolutely amazing. How are you doing, man? How's it all going?
Very good, mate, very good. Yeah, just woke up this morning, the MV got released today for LOONA's single. So yeah, man, I'm excited. Obviously, I'm binging through everybody's reaction videos.
Really?
I'm watching everyone's reaction videos now, more than the actual MV, to be honest. People's reactions, they mean a lot because, you know, I'm making a product that I want people to like. So I'm always taking into account what feedback people are giving, because I may hear something in the feedback that I can use in the future, in my future productions. If people are saying, yeah, that felt a little bit too this, blah, 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 a bit too blah, I could be like, actually, let me listen to that. And I'll be like, actually, they have a point. So I then can incorporate that in my future projects and think, well, yeah, let me try a little bit of this, because that person pointed that out, and I actually agree with them, actually. So I'm now gonna maybe change the way I do that in my next thing. I mean, it's not like I'm listening to them and being like, oh my God, they said that. Oh, that means it's this and it's that. I read into it that deeply, but I do take the constructive criticism or the criticism as well as the positive stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's all important.
I'm learning from you straight away because, yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. It's only going to make you better as an artist, right?
Exactly, because in this game, it's a marathon. It's never a sprint. So you got to be looking for the long run. And you can always learn from every release something new. My next release in 3 years may be a million times better than this. It could be a million times worse. You don't know. But you've got to look at it in the terms of it's a marathon you're running, not a sprint. So you've got to basically take all the criticism on board. Don't get disheartened by it, but actually get motivated by it, if that makes sense. Because it's very easy to get disheartened by criticism and people talking down.
Definitely.
You know, you could read 6 comments in a row that say, oh, LOONA's last single was so much better. And you could end up being like, oh God, we've failed. But actually, the general percent is it's normally about kind of like 85% love it. You get your 15% who don't, which is cool, which is fine. But the point I'm making is that 15%, you don't allow it to bring you down. You just take notes from that and use it in the future. That's what I do with all my releases. And that's why I think that's the only way to really get better, is to understand you're still not great yet and you're still not doing this perfectly. You're still learning. You're lucky enough to be good enough that people are taking your music seriously, these big companies, but there's still a long way to go.
Such amazing advice, man. And I'm definitely going to be doing that. That's I never even thought of it that way. That's incredible. And for people like at home who are watching, I mean, you've had cuts with EXO twice. What songs have you actually had cuts with and you're still saying today that you can always keep improving and doing better?
You know, when you're a writer and producer, you generally tend to, you kind of have a little bit of an ego, right? Not in a nasty way. We all have a little bit of an ego because we all believe we eventually will be the best. Now, you've got to have that attitude, because then at least if you don't crack the world, you come somewhere close. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you might, like there's a saying, someone goes, if you reach for the stars, you might at least end up, you know, reaching the clouds or something like to that effect. Yeah. So I see it all as a learning experience. Yes, EXO CVX twice, you know, all this stuff. I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I love it. I'm so proud of it. But I still hear that could be better, actually. I need to do this in the next track. I need to do this in the next track. And basically your brain gets filled with all this information that you take on board and you use to progress yourself. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. That's why you can't take things to heart. You can't get disheartened. You just got to nail forward, keep going forward. Take every release I have, I see that as the start of my career.
Wow,
if that makes sense. I don't see all them cuts back there over the last 3 years. I've been doing K-pop, J-pop now for, I would say, it's just over 3 years now.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I've had a lot of cuts, a lot of good cuts, a lot of high-selling albums in that time. But I consider now my starting point. Do you know what I mean? I see all that as learning. And now going forward, everything's getting better each time until it gets to the point where I'm getting all the huge ones randomly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really, really cool to hear that. And it's really humbling, actually, that even at your, you know, sort of level, you're still like developing and learning. But I think something that people would like to know as well, like you're a bit of a producer that does a lot more than a lot of other producers in the way that you will actually top line your own songs as well as produce them, right?
I'll tell you why that all happened was because, but in the beginning when I started, my lack was contacts, collaborations. I'm very much I've been doing it on my own. I'm stuck in my own little world. I'm very much one of those do it myself, stuck in because I don't really like relying on other people a lot. Because when you rely on other people, you find yourself always waiting for them to deliver, and it can be frustrating. Some of my biggest cuts, like my EXO cuts and my Twice ones, I kind of more or less produced and wrote them on myself.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because I actually wanted to. I actually felt I don't know the people that I feel are going to be good enough to do this right now. And it was at that point where I didn't know many people. So I wanted to kind of like just rely on myself and be like, do you know what? I can nail this. I'm not going to rely on anyone. I can bloody do this. I can nail this. I'll do the production. I'll do the top line. And I'll just take my time until I really think it's right. And then those cuts got cut. EXO CVX, EXO. Those were two particular songs that I wrote and produced by myself.
Which songs were they?
EXO CVX was Cherish, which became one of their most popular songs.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
EXO was Run This, which is... and I've had two cuts of Twice. At that time, I didn't really know many people that I could collab with. So I was almost forced to do it on my own. But it started getting to a stage where I was like, oh man, this is long. The money was obviously good because I owned 100% of the song. So that was really good. But it was long. It was because I'd come back the next day. I'd have to rewrite the pre because it wasn't good enough. I'd then listen to the part of the chorus. Sometimes I'd be spending about 2 or 3 weeks just on the top line itself.
Wow.
It was worth it. Don't get me wrong. Because like I say, I earned 4 times the money that a 4-way collaboration would have earned each person. So I earned all that money myself, which was nice and very needed at the time.
Yeah.
But started getting to a point where I was like, geez, I'm producing this. I'm top lining, I'm vocaling it, I'm editing it, I'm mixing it. I need to find some other hands here to sort me out with this. And then recently I then started finding good collaborators because obviously I've got a son now, so my time is very limited. I've got my baby boy who I love to bits. So I want to make sure that I'm not stuck in that struggling zone. So I said to myself, I'm now going to just do instrumentals, send them to top liners. Then if it comes back bits, then I can add to the top line. Rather than me doing all the top line, I can then add to it if I feel there's something missing.
And this is the process you took with Anna in this LOONA track then?
Yeah, basically Anna is an example of that. I knew Anna. Anna was one of them ones where I knew she was good. I knew she had the voice. I knew she could write. I knew about her. But because I was so busy doing my things, I didn't think to myself, well, I've got to collab with her. But then suddenly I saw her getting the cuts on her Facebook. And I started thinking, why we still haven't collabed? We need to do this collaboration. I said to her, look, let's write. I've got this instrumental. It's kind of girl crush, they call it, isn't it? I'm not sure why they call it girl crush, but it's called girl crush. Personally, I think it sounds like more like girl crash rather than girl crush. Because I always, when someone says to me girl crush, I'm thinking, oh, baby, love you. Oh. That's what I'm hearing as girl crush.
Right, yeah.
But apparently girl crush is the hardcore stuff, which I was quite surprised
It's more
about.
the rocky, edgier stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, which I was quite surprised about. So I basically said to her, I've got this track, can you write to it? She basically wrote to it. Cut a long story short, I really liked what she did. It was really spot on. Blah, blah, blah. We changed a couple of bits. We flipped a few bits around, mixed it, got it done. Her vocal recording and delivery was impeccable. It was absolutely
she's great. Yeah, she's
first
awesome.
class. She delivered the vocals. I was blown away. I was like, wow, it sounds awesome. It took almost probably a week and a half to 2 weeks of work off of me, of how I used to be doing it. So then I got the vocals, mixed it, blah, 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 sent it to my company, got lots of good reactions from it straight away from the people. So then Echo, who's my publisher, they started pushing it around. They sent it, I think, to the Korean side of EXO. They then worked on it. And then suddenly we got a feedback saying, we'd like to get the instrumental because a girl band wants to try the vocals out. And So-Man Lee, who's obviously the head of SM Entertainment, he is actually sorting out this album for LOONA. He's actually been an integral part of producing this album. So he basically said, this is going to be the title track, flip a bit around, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then basically that was it. It was cut as a title track. I was really excited because LOONA, even though they're not one of the big three, for me, LOONA are a very cool, credible act. I've listened to their stuff. I've always gone, wow, this band, they may not be as big as blah, 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 but they're not half as cheesy, not half as corny. They're actually a really cool band. So I was actually really pleased. When I got the car, I was like, oh, okay, wicked. This is actually a really cool act that I respect and really like. So I was really happy with it.
What was the time frame from you guys like starting the song to it getting finally cut and that video that came out?
Reasonably quick. I would say no, from writing the song, pitching, cut, I would say 6 to 7 months, maybe.
Cool.
Reasonably quick one.
Yeah.
Reasonably quick one. You know, like some songs take 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had songs that I wrote 3 years ago that I've literally had songs I did 3 years ago. I've got a song with King and Prince coming this year. I think it's a single around about April, May time. King and Prince, who are Johnny's act. They're like the biggest boy band in Japan right now, King and Prince. I wrote that song with my co-writer actually probably about 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
Getting on for 3 years ago. So, you know, if you write a good song, they can hang around and they can get cut. Sometimes you can get a cut that goes in 3 months. Really depends really on the timing and all that kind of stuff. But this one was about half a year to 3/4 of a year turnaround.
Cool. So something I wanted to ask you about this song as well, and I heard it in the production. Awesome work. I absolutely love it. And I want to know, in the chorus and in general in the song, how many basses have you actually put in that song?
The original bass drop that I did in that section where it drops was a proper future bass house drop. Okay,
really? With the postponed bit that you bring in the instruments a bit, a couple of beats after the actual downbeat, don't you?
Yeah, so it goes da 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 da
yeah.
That's not actually pausing the beat. It's actually still on the. It's still 8 bars. That
it's not postponing like the impact, isn't it? Yeah. It's awesome.
As you can hear, halfway through the drop each time, it goes brum 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 like that.
Yeah.
Now, originally, the whole drop had that all the way through, and I think So-Man Lee probably felt it was a little bit too bass housey. Yeah, it needed to have a bit more of a mainstream feel to it as well. So basically, he got one of his producers at SM Entertainment called Imlay, and Imlay, you know, the bass goes that bit. So Imlay did that bit, and then they mixed it with my bit, Imlay or Imlay. Not too sure how to pronounce his name. They mixed it with that bit, and then it doesn't sound too club-orientated, future-based bass house. It now sounds a bit more mainstream poppy, mixed with elements of future bass, future house. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's basically what it was. They just mixed the two together and got the blend they wanted.
What I love, it's awesome, and what I really love about it, and I mentioned it in the reaction video, is that you are very good at creating this insane amount of anticipation, the emotion that you're conveying throughout the song, and you keep that energy up for like the entire song. It's absolutely incredible. Like, was that always in the back of your mind? Like, I need to keep this emotion flowing throughout the song and keep people hyped.
Well, me personally, I'm a very kind of, people often say I'm quite an intense person in general. So like a lot of people say that they find me quite intense and quite on it. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Hey, so I am quite an energy-driven person. I like to feel the energy of something. If I don't feel the energy of something, then I don't feel it. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be mean it has to be loud energy, the energy of a melody or something. I need to feel around about here. Emotionally, around about here, I need to feel something that's driving me and making me think, yeah, that's got that energy. To be honest, sometimes I think I go a bit too overboard and I need to get a little bit more color. I compare songs to roller coasters. Now, can you imagine if you went on a roller coaster and the roller coaster just kept going like that all the way through? You get a bit bored after a while.
Pretty dull, isn't it? Yeah.
So the reason why roller coasters are one of the most popular rides in the world forever is because they take you up and down. They take you up and down all the time. So for me, I need to have a song that goes there, then goes there, then goes there, then comes back down again. There has to be, for me, somewhere in a song that is, they call it, I don't know, they call it the or the do you know what I mean?
Edit that bit out. I'm going to have to edit that bit out. The money shot, you mean?
Sorry, the money shot. There's the bit they call the money shot, which is that bit where the roller coaster gets to the peak and it takes you up there. For me, I always, whether it's a ballad, a dance track, I always am looking for the melody or some part of the track to go to that peak. Otherwise, I don't feel fulfilled. So there's parts of the song that do that. Like, for example, the
B-chorus, the vocal ascending
so
melody,
bad,
right?
I'm so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
That's
I'm
it.
so bad.
Yeah.
That bit there is the bit that takes me to that final point of satisfaction. Do you know what I mean?
The last point, and then it drops right back down to verse 2. Yeah.
Exactly. So
nice.
It's gone. Yeah, see, I'm always looking for that kind of thing when I'm writing songs, whether someone else is doing it or myself. Other people don't, but for me, that's what tickles me. It's having the emotion, like being taken somewhere and then let down again, and then taken back up there again and let down again. You know,
I definitely felt that first time I heard it. You've captured that emotion perfectly, and it's just hype after anticipation after drop after, and obviously you got the Midlate or bridge. If it was, the American version, is where you take them on a completely different journey where you bring the energy down and then get ready for the final chorus. Yeah, it's really cool.
The melodies that Anna wrote on the Midlate, I really loved them. They really complemented the rest of the song. It gave that breath of fresh air because there weren't really any chords changing. The whole song was based on one chord all the way through.
Really?
Just one note. Yeah, there was no chord change apart from the Midlate. It was all based on one note. Bam, 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 bam. The whole song was built around that. So then the Midlate comes in, and it was it was like a breath of fresh air. But I loved what she wrote over that.
It's awesome, isn't it? Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Generally, really good first collaboration.
David, I just want to say thanks so much for doing the video. If anyone wants to find you online, where should they come check you out?
I don't really have much social media, man. I just have a personal page. I don't even have a fan page. I don't have Instagram. I don't really have a YouTube channel. Mate, people don't need to come and find me. It's all good. My name's David Anthony on Facebook. That's it.
Thanks so much, David. Really, really appreciate it for you coming on. And awesome work on social.
Thanks for asking me to do the interview. I've never done one. It's nice to be questioned sometimes because it kind of, it reminds you of things you need to remember yourself, actually.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much. Great meeting you, and I'll catch you soon.